Hooligans! We back for another episode of the Hooligans League podcast. I'd like to sincerely apologize for once again taking a week off. It's just been a crazy week of work mixed in with getting ready for the holidays. I haven't had time to dive in and give it the proper recap that it deserves. So, we're going to have a shorter episode today. I have a flight scheduled tomorrow morning, and that got canceled earlier today and then rescheduled for later tomorrow. So I've been dealing with that. Wanted to give this a little bit more time, but instead going to make a few tweaks to the podcast schedule, and we will be getting a proper recap. But for now, since you know me, can't take 2 weeks off, going to quickly dive in, talk about the regular season finale, talk about last week, and then jump in to the semifinal second round matchups. So it's playoff time, baby. Let's dive in.
Best in the business when it comes to a quarterback sneak.
People all right, so like I said, this episode's gonna be different. Got a lot to cram in, but I'm not trying to make this a 45-minute episode. I'll also note, along with the waivers being blocked, I'm also not discussing them anymore on the podcast. By doing that in the regular season, I'm tipping people off on who they got on their team and what their waiver situation is like. We're in the playoffs now. You got to find that information on your own. So won't be talking about waivers or any transactions on the podcast other than y'all made me fucking block transactions because you couldn't resist. Also won't be doing power rankings anymore. They really don't matter. You lose, you go home. It's that simple. They're also just tricky, and it would be weird to be doing power rankings 1 week at a time, especially when a bunch of you aren't in the playoffs and are in a different tournament. You'd probably need 2 different power rankings, and that is just too much math for Graceffa to do. Last of all, these next 2 episodes will be short and sweet because there's only a few games going on. But with that, there will be multiple recap episodes when the season's over. Probably one big one that celebrates the end of the year. There will be another one that does some fact finding and talks about the history of this league, and we'll see how many we do. They also won't be weekly at all. There'll be 2 or 3 weeks in between those to give me time to do the research and find the right cool shit that took place. And to also just keep it going. The league doesn't stop just because the season does. So, gonna drag it out a bit. So that's a quick update. Let's jump in. First up, we have to remember week 14, regular season finale. We talked about it all in the group chat. So I'm not going through any of this individually. If you lost, if you didn't get the bye week, like I didn't, Rick won. We even had the 2 players to watch episodes for that. So we were pretty locked in on what was going down during week 14. The thing I will highlight are the 2 prize winners. Because Kyler Murray's injury and then some late night heroics by Connor and New England defense, because Kyler Murray's injury, Dan ended up passing me, and he took the team of the week. The final Andy Bobandy team of the week honors is Danny Silverman, Senor Pobre Holmes. $20 to you, coming soon. And then I got the best loser because of that $10 to me. So we got that. We also have a manager of the week. And come on, you all know who this is. If you don't, you're just not thinking about it. It's little Debbie Dick. Of course he's the manager of the week. Because he wasn't able to pull it off. Dick is now the proud owner of the last place trophy. So you are the manager of the week for week 14. And not only are you the owner of that trophy, you might have been the manager of the week anyways. Now, you lost to Radler by 1.12 points for the tiebreaker for last. Nick Foles couldn't get the job done for you going into Monday Night Football. But 1.12, man, like, there's plenty of things you could have done differently. I'll also note, just to make you feel worse, you could have beaten Chris. You only lost to him by 0.22. That's one extra point. That's one catch. 23 rushing yards, 23 receiving yards. I mean, oh, sorry. Yeah, like, that's terrible math. Sorry, 0.23 receiving yards, 0.23 rushing yards. Or a measly, what is that? Like 6 or 7 passing yards? So, yeah, you fucked it up. You started Davis Mills instead of Baker Mayfield. You start Baker Mayfield. You beat Chris and you out. You even if you had lost, you would have beaten Radler in points. You're the manager of the week. You're in last place. You suck. That's it. So let's talk money. That was the regular season finale. The finale was seeing who would come in last, and that was Dickey, which means we have our earners for the regular season completed. Chow ended up with the 1 seed. I stole most points from Andy on the final week. Silverman already secured the Survivor Championship. No one could steal the best week from Dan Santola. And Andy, I was coming for your most points against, but I wasn't able to get it. You walk away with that. So leaving me and Dan at $100 to close off the season, Andy with 95 and Chow with 70. Then we got Dan Santola at 45, Chris and James and Rick at 40, and then Jovi 30, Radler, Caveney, and Dick all at 10. So some of us got a good chunk of change back. Some, maybe you can buy a meal and some beers with, and then others, at least you can say you got something. So that's it for the regular season money. So let's talk about playoffs. Obviously, last week, Chow and Rick didn't have to worry about shit. Didn't have to worry about anything. Just looking for reasons to feel good when they do start playing the playoffs. Me and Santola had what looked like on paper was going to be a hot matchup, and it was dog shit. I think we were 2 of the bottom 3 teams in the entire league, but I pulled that off. Definitely thanks to some lucky things at the end. And then Radler, and then Berkey, Andy, and Silverman had a more high scoring matchup, but really Andy blew him out. Silverman scores 177 points the week before, and then his team just doesn't perform the following week. So the Dans, see you later. I guess it wasn't your season. You gave a valiant effort. What's unfortunate is now that you're not eligible for the third place prize, and you're not eligible for the losers bracket prize. So you're just kind of in no man's land, which feels a little weird, and maybe we'll have to reconsider there being something on the line for the 5th and 6th place teams next year. But that's last week. Managers of the week, got a couple. First one, this is the most regretful manager of the week, goes to Silverman. It was a blowout, but if you look at his roster, he could have won. Played the wrong tight end. He played a wrong wide receiver. He played a wrong running back. There was a lot of points on his bench, and I am sure he's thought about it multiple times. Not going to quite give you the dumbass manager of the week award, because to make all of those changes, I don't know if there's a case that you should have started those guys, but I'm sure I know the philosophy, the psychology of a fantasy footballist. You're thinking about it. So sorry, bud. You got to live with that regret for forever. You better hope that your team doesn't go off this week, because then you'll be thinking, oh my God, if I would have started them, I'd be in the finals right now. So you're probably hoping for a bad week. I know I would be. Then the luckiest manager, that goes to me. That goes to me. I only scored 116 points, something like that. Yet there was no combination of players that Santola could have started and beat me. Just duds all around by his team. There's nothing he could do. And I got very, very lucky. Like I said, I think we were both bottom 3 in scoring. I was either the third lowest scorer or the second. I actually would have to double check, but I know it was bad. So I'm lucky. I'm going to either need that luck or my team to show up if I want to make the finals. So that brings us to the Hooligans League semi-final matchups. If I would imagine people are stressing out these 4 teams. We got me versus Chow, Rick versus Andy. Chow has the number 1 seed on the line and the best record in history on the line. He's got 13 wins. He's going for 15, which would be record breaking. I don't have a championship, and I've put a lot of work into this season, and it will certainly be sad if I don't even make the finals. Rick, I think he's made more transactions than anybody. He's made more trades than anybody. We all know how much he invests into fantasy football. He certainly wants to at least make the finals. And then Andy, I mean, you could look at it and say, like, he thought his season was over a few weeks ago, and look, here he is. But there was once a time where he thought he was the favorite. I think most of us thought he was the favorite. And also, he's a 2-time winner already. He could become our first ever 3-time winner. A lot on the line for this group. 2 teams looking to get their first championship ever and make a little history. And then Rick and Andy. Rick either trying to join the 2 championship club, or Andy's trying to start a new club of his own. Not to mention that by winning this week, you guarantee yourself at least $500. $500. Plus all the money you've already made. You might be one of the top earners ever in our league just by winning this week. So a lot on the line. So let's talk about those matchups. Me versus Chow. Definitely gonna be a good one. I can't say I'm feeling great. I have a lot of decisions to make. Am I doing Wilson or Watson? Am I doing Judy or Big Mike? Do I roll out the Denver tight end? I don't know. There's weather. There's a lot of shit going down. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm going to figure that out after I publish this podcast. I just don't want to live with regret. Chow looked at his roster. I don't know if he has any of these question marks there. I think his lineup's locked, which I'm a little jealous of. But I'm looking to take Chow out. He's 2-0 against me this year. I'm just hoping it doesn't become a third. That would hurt to go 3-0, 0-3 against Chow, and being at risk for not even hitting the podium. Then we got Rick versus Andy. A bunch of question marks here, and I'm not sure what these managers are going to do. Rick doesn't have Hurts, which makes him have to figure out what he's doing at quarterback. Is he going with Pickett or is he going with Foles? Kenneth Walker is hurt, but might be playing. He's got to figure that out, and then he's got to figure out which other running backs is he going to play. Fournette, Swift, White, Garrett Wilson's in the mix. I mean, he's got a lot of good players, and he needs to move them around and find the right formula. And I don't envy the position, because if you lose because of a decision you made, it hurts a lot worse than when there's nothing you could have done. Andy also has some question marks, especially if you're looking at Yahoo projections, which I encourage everyone to just ignore those, because those will fuck up your head. But he's got to figure out if he's doing Carr or Minshew. He also has to decide if he's doing Robinson or Foreman. Not the easiest decisions you have to make, but they will play a huge role in determining this outcome. He's already projected to lose, so he needs to make sure that he capitalizes on every decision he makes. So a lot of drama in each matchup. I have potentially guys going tonight, so I'm going to be stressing out for the next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 5 days. Good stuff. So that is the second round Hooligans League semifinals. Going to be a good one. Then we have the losers bracket. Now, I'm not going to dive into individual matchups for the losers bracket. I will shout out Joe V versus Chris. Going to be a fun one there. Then James versus Gaveney. Another good one. They're duking it out. They're trying to win that $60 losers bracket. But that's all I'm going to say about that because you aren't the main show. But what I will say is I love that this is happening, and we should definitely consider making this a built-in part of the league next year. Let's talk about it after the season's over, but I really like the vibes that come with this. I think if we had it predetermined, it would have changed up trade weekend because people would be thinking about this round of the league as well. Keeps people engaged. You get to win some extra money. It's just all a lot of fun. So shout out to Chris for making this happen. I definitely want to explore adding this into every year we have. And then I think this is the main reason I actually put this slide in here. There's something I needed to point out. If I'm not sure if others have noticed this. You know whose name isn't on this list of teams playing? Dickey's. Because Dickey lost last week. Meaning that Dickey could come in last twice this year. Come in last twice. He ended up in last in the regular season. And now he might be coming in last for the losers bracket. So, Rattler, rooting for you, bud. There's not going to be a trophy for this. And next year we'll have to decide who gets the trophy. Is it the regular season owner? Which is Dickey, this year you get the trophy. But moving forward, or do we go off the losers bracket? So I'm definitely rooting against Dickey this week. Maybe more than I'm rooting against Chow. Who knows? It would be fun to see you come in last twice. So that's it. That's the second round edition of the playoffs. Semifinals. A lot on the line. A lot of money on the line. And going to be a fun, eventful Christmas football weekend. That's it. Peace out. Enjoy your matchups. Make the right plays. And just have a good quality weekend. Peace out.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.